Okay, good morning again. We're almost ready for our grand entry here at our 2017 Grand Council Assembly. We've brought all the First Nation flags up front, as you can see. So we'd like to prepare for our grand entry. It's going to happen in a few minutes. So if we could ask the chiefs here to come pick up your flags up here. Darren Henry over in the white shirt is going to organize us for our grand entry over at the entrance here, which he said is closest to the east. So we're going to do our call on the Anishinabek drum to do a grand entry. After that, we'll have a flag song. We're going to post our flags. Then we have a special treat. Anishinabek pre-K children are going to be singing O Canada in the language for us. Then we'll have our elder, Pauline Williams, do a Thanksgiving. And then we'll have our drum do a welcome song. So if we could call on the chiefs to come pick up your flags up here in the front and organize with Darren Henry over at the entrance just to my right. Miigwech. Yeah, Darren's going to set you up over here.
So we go one right around, right?
Yeah.
And we only come in and then the flags stay outside.
Okay.
Ready to roll, Garrett?
No, well, as soon as you're ready. Oh yeah, can we, there's one more staff if somebody wants to carry it into the grand entry. It's out here in the center. Okay, we still have some flags left up here, so if there's anybody who would like to carry a flag, we'd like to bring all of our flags in. Yeah. When we come in, our Deputy Grand Chief will be leading us in. We'll do one circle right around the assembly, and then the Eagle staffs will go into the center, and the rest of the flags will keep going around the outside. Okay, we still have about 5 or 6 flags, so if we get a few more volunteers, we'll get going with our grand entry. Okay, we're down to 3 flags. Okay, miigwech, everybody. We have all of our flags accounted for, so we'll give them a moment to get set up. I'd like to thank Darren Henry, our local elder, who's helping organize this event and help organize our grand entry this morning. I'd like to introduce our drum. They're called the Homeland Singers from Anishinabek, and they're going to be here singing some songs for us this morning. Appreciate having them. Okay, Darren informs me you're ready, so we're going to turn it over to the Homeland Singers from Anishinabek for our grand entry. Please rise. Homeland Singers. Miigwech Homeland for that beautiful grand entry song. It was really great to see all the flags coming in this morning, and the Eagle staff. A great way to start our Grand Council this year. I'd like to ask you to remain standing, and we're going to go back to Homeland and ask them to play a flag song, Homeland. Miigwech again, the Homeland for that flag song. First, we'd like to post our Eagle staffs. We have 3 in there. Chief Joanne Rogers from Aamjiwnaang carrying the Aamjiwnaang Eagle staff. And we have Chief Scott McLeod carrying Nipissing First Nation Eagle staff. And Grand Council Chief Madabi carrying the Anishinabek Nation Eagle staff. Miigwech. Now I'd like to ask all the chiefs that are carrying flags and then post their flags up here in the stands. And Miigwech, and then in a few moments we're going to call upon the Aamjiwnaang pre-K children. We're going to have a special treat. They're going to sing "O Canada" for us this morning. Miigwech to all the flag carriers as well for bringing in the flags of their communities and those that carried flags for the ones that weren't here. So we'll call upon the Anishinabek children. I see Darren's setting up a microphone here in the center for them. So we'll call them into the center of the circle here when they're ready.
Buju, Mrs. Henry Dishnakas, I'm Janong Dunchaba, Jikandonam. Would just like to say miigwech for allowing our students to come. It's a real honor to come and sing for you. And we're going to do one dance. Just before we do that dance, I just wanted to let everybody know that the students and parents have worked really hard this year as part of our parental engagement activity. We had nights where parents came in and designed outfits, and we were able to sew them all together. And for about 4 months, we had 2 youth. One of them was Lightning Clark and Robbie Williams. They came in as part of our physical education program. And we had dance lessons once a week. And so this is their second time actually dancing. And our mini powwow is coming up on June 15th, and we'll be dancing again. So I hope you enjoy watching them dance. Miigwech.
miigwech again to Homeland Singers in the Amjadong Pre-K who came to sing O Canada and dance for us. Great addition to our opening this morning for our 2017 Grand Council. Now I'd like to call upon our elder, Pauline Williams, to deliver our Thanksgiving. Pauline Williams.
I'm too short. Okay. Anyway, it's okay. Miigwech kshebnedo kinaman piga bishit koshnuat Anishinabek. Miigwech diktame miigwech ko eshim nagishigat anwegan gorkot natkiadash kamnayamini epichim gorkot miigwech eshe wisnyang mino eshim nayang anen gego emana jishiachik kata nagatwen mekawa kino chmiigwech ke na kunigewat mampinang ko shwen mek Anishinabek minan Anishinabek kwek when the shrebak is na kunigek nangot nang ko snagat mandanan ki ek the shrebak when na kunigewat chmiigwech dash when the shrebak kabinjishaik miigwech ke ko mampishkot nganing kabishaik abchuk mampini zaktun kabishi tukushna mampini amjanak kislanan patang ding kichinen tam skituang ya Anishinabek ya kino deshni dak chinen tam kilang ko je Anishinabek wat Anishinabek. Aha, miigwech.
Miigwech, Pauline. So I'm just going to read the Nogodwe Wangisid Anishinabek before we go to our opening remarks. The Benjaged Gisan Anishinabek, a king, Gebe, Diguan, Godne, Manado, what is win? Shkude, Nibe, Ake, Nodin, Gebe, Degosnanin, we nung the one among Mompi, Skugmigang, the Benjaged, Gimin on, Getchitwan, Wendagog, Anishinabek, Wa Nong Dunjin, Ninda Nishwaswe, Kinamwadwinan, Zalgidwin, Debwe win, Madadenda win, Nabwaka win, the Badenza win, Gwekwadza win, meanwhile Akade win, the Benjaged Kimin Gona, Debwene we Nongdo Wendo win, Kamana Dendana, Gabi Shiwabug, meanwhile Nongo Megwa Eshribug, meanwhile Giabi, Wani Shiwabug. Miigwech.
Testing, testing. We have some gifts here, some cloth and tobacco for our some individuals. Starting with the elder, just did the prayer, Elder Williams. If you could come in for a minute. Yumakwe, John. the drummers could come in, for gentlemen that were drumming. Singers, where'd you go? One each, yeah. Yes, yeah, we're supposed to. So, Miigwech, we just wanted to have a share a little bundle with you, each of you, acknowledging you know you as the hosts here, and so Miigwech for everything you do.
Miigwech, that now concludes our opening. Now we'd like to call upon the opening remarks, and we'd like to invite Chief Joanne Rogers to deliver some opening remarks. Chief Joanne Rogers.
Good morning. Bonjour, Anishna. Anishinabek, Joanne Ogama, Anishinabek, Dichnakaz. Amjadang Dujaba. On behalf of Amjadang Band Council, our community members, and our staff, welcome to our traditional territory, our home of Amjadang. Amjadang is commonly known as the place at the spawning stream where the waters flow spiritually like a braid. First of all, for those who do not know me, and that is probably 98% of you here present today, I would like to tell you just a little bit about myself. I am a lifelong resident and member of Amjadang. I grew up in my community, and I never left my community except to go to school. I have been married to my husband, Charles, for 44 years, who is also a lifelong resident member of Amjadang. Charles and his friends will be playing their musical instruments for you Tuesday night. I also invite anyone who has any musical talents to come and join them, whether it is to play a musical instrument, to sing a song, or just do a little jig. You're all welcome to attend. We have 6 grandchildren, my husband and I, and we are currently raising our granddaughter, who's 13 years old, and we've had her since she was 5 months. She's now 13 years old, sometimes think she's 18 years old. And she keeps us busy. I have always worked in my community of Amjadang. I also volunteered on probably and pretty much all the committees that are in our community until I was appointed a Justice of Peace in 1993. That position I held for 21 years until I retired in 2014. I almost reached the 2-year mark on blissful retirement. And then I was asked to consider running for chief of my community. Our community made history on July 15, 2016, by electing their first female chief. I don't say that to brag, because I believe it's totally and especially important for our little girls and our young women and our older gals that, yes, you too can become chief of your community. You can become counselor. You can become a leader. This event, this gathering, is a very exciting time for me. I've never been in one place with so many chiefs. I believe there's to be 40 chiefs here with us. I'm excited because I will be learning from each and every one of you. I will be following your lead because I'm the newbie. I've been saying that for 11 months now, that I'm the newbie. I would like to say Chi Miigwech and recognize our elder Pauline Williams for being with us to give us Thanksgiving in our opening, and she will be in our closing. I would like to say Chi Miigwech to all of our staff who have worked so hard to make this assembly possible for us. We are very proud of our staff. I would like to say Chi Miigwech to the many people in our community and elsewhere who came together to assist us with the lodges. It was a lot of work putting that big lodge up in the back. To the staff taking care of our grounds, to the cooks who will be preparing our meals, to the drummers, the many firekeepers, the vendors who will be with us who want us to spend all our junya, and to the Anishinabek Nation in trusting us to make this event possible for you and for their assistance, of course, in putting this together. I also like to say Chi Miigwech to our elder, Gordon Wandabins, for making sure that everything is just right for you. Lastly, to my band council, Amjadang Band Council, for their guidance and support. They haven't steered me wrong yet. I hope you enjoy your visit with us. Miigwech.
Miigwech Chief Rogers. Now I'd like to call on Deputy Grand Council Chief Glenn Hare.
Honey. Yeah, honey. What? Oh. No, I've done. Panego. Well, Miigwech. Can I change in the Anishinabek tan? Can I get good tam? Mejes ngakjatons we jagna simtama Scotch. Kaya na ta jagna si ngakjaton siwa. Miigwech amchinang mena kik me gong genin mission the ench by kegi no. Nimne ching geni arjun bimboche. Nich ken an ke sinde yaok ma jog arjegi ma jog kanen. Manas mandak kene ameng sinde ni ande ni gan sinde tek. Abdeke we Miigwech men kene ensigi jgakwe. Skozi nonnen den. Mi jene ken jaing. Is bin nisnagak. Swim dinner. Kuda mission de gemak. Ki gen jgazo ki gen keno enching swim dinner. Nishin. Batti ning shinde. Kino gemak shinde zageg. Mi je wam jgadek. Skuzing. Kena mamu naking. Keget gai kena shinde kuda sime. Snagat ni man nakin gema dant kin. Nimnege abege gushe bade pitten ding wasa. Akzog, enchbang, enemang. Nimne chingai gdasi mige gushe baken enchbang. Mi ugenin de kwemu abang e we kanin we butin gaza abang ade. Kai mana jenga nani busi. Mi ejebzing pane. Kinigegu en king nunga. Beb nashkemeng. Minche, Gudam no Jiminanek. Knock Nagawan Basic, Nganjamachta. Yatin, couldn't keep me, knock Nagawan, we are ming and buying. Me manda Abdik Wyoming. Can you go women ash coming? And Jacobak netting we go on any boing. We've scoozing. Can you go jim up court thousand? Kadeboeme. Kapsin Dagome, Kanun Dagome. Patino and keep tagging. Kenda soak. When Shibigeo. Me abdek wab na dapat na meng. Kine kina deben daw zing shinda. Mi gewe genja matchtain gobe nak na gewen sko dapat na meg. Abdek kine kwinak den man agdab no jimenanek. Abdek kine week kidding when deben daw zit enj buying. Aye wapskiet yabe. En sigish gok yabe kmukmugom meg benojiak. Mi abdek one gas doing. Nimne ching nun dan. Zenegan gda nagduna. Pane. Geni next ajus sabun bebaya. Aptun de wetanwe. Manda shigun nunga bad the mamanda. Gaib zenegan the nagdosin. Pambocha kina wench bike. Kaibzen agan ba amba dosin. When in the Quena Nagda and Damgeni, a chapitch again in Nadamago. Me mandage shep kegba. Namage, me mandage kidimba, they go. Me get nige, economa, this dog gag. Me gege mark, a chapitch. Me wedge doesn't can cheek. Not more young any. We panat mag in our zag change and buying. Manash game on the kinoma doing. Game bim nashka nawe. And I got Rajuni num sabun. Nib nasabun, I remember nashka nawe. Mandab sinagan and Jikadamang with the payang and bike. They were done, up to they were done, the big adekwe. Kagugi abuya that Kito sin Kendaswin, Kinwe, what the ben men. Kaguya. So, Chego, the benda now, the Shawnang, Chiefs of Ontario is Nikadek. I up to get Gushet Badjagades no Kendaswin Nikkei. Namageo the Arwa, Gaginu, the benda now, the basic Atkin gun, Chigamag, Madabet, National Chief. Gauge would go. There's not magu sime man the Kendasun Nikkei. Me and the Chinen man, Jamami Quenma, Nakitiming Manda, Zinagan, Pambo Chang, and Bike. Gets Nagat without Nagadek ego sky. Man the Shrigo, they were Tana. Nimnege with the Quedem. Ishbiga dekshe. Ni shigo abjedin benom the maje web zinagan. Mi gek pi. Ekdumage jek. Win chibin the mot. Scusian. We kinomagiad. We skip tod zinagan we migiad we yaskoskonet. Manda. Mi gwech. Me mandag maznagan. Oder sag jing we paya and we panda ong jane. We will not keen. Mandag mean in. We skip told we could economic Gaishaganash. Keenwe, Kamina Nagdam no Jimina and Web Zinagan. Menash Kino, economic when that Bomagaza went keen. Now Sapo the Zalchi gain on the Keskitmo Junior, Migano Keskitot on the Gaginwe and Titagwing. Gek P, me gek P. The Chinen mo conduct. Manda kendi asvın bem naşkamang. Kay maba de benzin we. Kay nin de benzin. Kena we en kit target ay de benzin we. O de enj buying de ben dan ha we. Kena go en chi ki pam botchegom. Kena go de we enj buying. Mi je git tong we. Kena je bi gade. We no git to na kena mamu we. Gai nin we. Mi en jeb skuzim gakwe. Apje. Skikke, debat de meng. Snagat. Ve takşka gwing, skikke ne ke iman adak skikke. Geni go ibişkini wangi tabna kwe. Mi har ko nishta na shini josa sabuna kubun tamba. Nango kwen mawe. Nango na kwen. Kaya go gaya aptu gego jebsen o ishkwe bit yabe. Met gumnashko zit wabe mi na matstad. Man dus koket ons dan. Het ap na gadek. Mi nango jangok. Kadam nuchi minanek, majauk. Sidzok, ayi kenzina. Gobun pi. Nango gobun pi niga. Mabat chba pasende bode arwanem de bejagnash. Prime Minister is nakazat, Justin Trudeau. Mi pi wabesh biyang zinagan. Kena we to begin the gaze we pass the sod and we a manadak. Good thing, meoja. Me up chip kena we an coat thousand much go on as well eggy that neki gimanadat we pieces pieskibugum skakwe marijuana is nakadek. Meoja. Nangodash, we've not up in the god there. Zegis, PJ Bukwe. And ek me go this nugsime. Takshka wingwe, them no Jimina against buying. Anen, Kashgun non dog. Kegi inwe etche check. Anishinabek manwe pingatga dekwen gigo. Anidash. Wan dapnat sigeni kedok. Kbeingina nagdendam haskonundo goge. Kai ni kenzin dapna motwe. Nidash ndenendam. We share but go. Nish gen in the end them done a book send them. When not get in the conning we go can we to go you not it run duck it. And see gak no but Gam ko 1000 Jingen mengwe. Mem dige kokudunsan. Als God chimne do awenwe, nen kokdunsen, kenne zam dedat nan go we mi gad meng den endam de wego. Den endam shigo en sigis gak ko 1000 man pin ani wing enj buying, pone we nun da going. We gas doing we. Ne bach bangi shekanad magnawe. Mi genie je bussen ma. Kai ba pi begiden jing. Benujing again, Jijmine. Now, no make big dog when they go up skate and give it on go. Give them cadendum. Me go on that nice the Kazakh Indian affairs. Give it on go. Give ma. Could I give them a wave? Nage rapigi da dabim madbe pigig ding. Queen's Park Ayajik. Premier's office. Mishkin tam nundo go on the Indian Affairs bigig dot. Gego wave geo da chkeme. We knock then mind benuchi kidok. Ni na ba chenjik kidotwe. Rajun Godoski is Awen. Ni win, question suck, Giapaten dok. When the commander judge. Migabik Kido depi, Mel, Janim Nassabon, given out Gazotgek. Kaibam Dagino, we knock in Mike Maba, one duck Benochiak. Nochquen Archung. We go. Nimachina now and the Kido Gepi. Mi just chiges kana bigi dot. Na genunan within debe maten benochian. Kadan de chigen we bigi onet kadanes. Ki ma jad bekko. Mi manda ganun meng meosha. Mi snongon be skab bedek de we tanwe. Kaibam da we begin the meng we je bakwe. Kaibam da. Kaibam da we ba behind gave of skejik. Maber question scotch kamajat. Kick back with the nudin nam stuck with the we gom can just kizot. Kai we shitchke see we gom skidem cock. Kai ni saying the way a pato see a with the to there. Nuchke go the Yabagiogi share, but then the Maba got been mutton benuchian. They were Dixuga. No? No. Nimna, Kego, Yabin Napko Tagos. Gogjetum Jagnashim Tamabangi Shem Mandagakidia. Geget Manajia Jagnashim Tamal Gego. Good evening. I'm going to try to capture most of that what I said in our language, but it's so more powerful and meaningful when we do use our language. Ni tamgat badan. Mandanak negewin. Keni pamboche. Oh, there you go. When I visit your communities, I hear lots of stories. Lots of good ones, lots of positive stories and concerns. But one of the things I think I do believe is our Constitution. I want to ask all our leaders here that we really make an extra effort to adopt a Constitution for our citizens. We can do so much. We'd have more time in our communities than to stand before a judge on our issues. I truly believe that. We don't have to stand in there anymore in front of them people. Not anymore. Everything we have to do and we need to do, we need our citizens. Again, this is where the laws start. We can make our laws under our Constitution and they will hold water. But I'll say it again. We are the only ones that have the say of who belongs in our community, not Ottawa or Queen's Park. Nobody. Only. And we have to maintain that. I hear a lot of questions out there right now and that people are working on this kind of stuff. And some of them questions are, there's no answers for them. They don't make sense. Education. Education is another one that I really encourage us. All the years of work that our past leadership and today's leadership that are here with us, many, many years, we have to, there's nobody else working on education for our kids. Nobody. Chiefs of Ontario, Assembly of First Nations. I welcome any comments toward me, if we have anything about education, because I'd rather take them kind of, to talk to us, to myself, than versus nothing. Someone to come to tell me, how come you're not doing anything about education? Well, we are. And there's two things that capture me very much. The whole book does, but I want to really outline. Our teachers will finally be recognized that they're real teachers. They will be able to give. They will have the right and the authority to give our kids their diplomas with their signature on it. And will mean just as much as a Jagnash diploma. They will be paid what they're worth. Finally. Imagine how much of our teachers, all of them, will be happy. They'll feel like extra energy to go to work to teach our kids. So our kids can stand here where we are right now. We have our lands and resources also. The Creator gave us rights. Everything you hear now, everything you hear the next 3 days are the rights that the Creator gave us. We have the right to water. There's so much out there beyond these doors that stand with us, but they lost their freedom of speech. They tell us that. That's a fact. They like to stand with us, but they can't because they risk losing their jobs, etc., etc. The rights that our veterans fought for, we cannot give that up. We went there in '98 to say miigwech across the ocean. Again, Grand Chief and his delegation went there a month or so ago to say miigwech. We cannot throw that away. Exercise our right. We will meet people that are racist, that think we don't have rights. Stand up. We've encountered that many times. Grand Chief and I, we encountered that on the Chijim on the ferry a few years ago. We stood up. We weren't shy. We stood up to them, four men that really knocked down our leadership. We cannot do that. We are chiefs. You are chiefs. We got to stand behind everyone that works for us. We got to stand behind all our communities. We have two elders here that will speak later on this week. Their passion is aerial spraying, what MNR is doing to the communities. But not only to their area in Huron or Superior, it affects us down here too. Those are medicines that they're killing. Even the Jagnash are coming to our elders for medicine, so they're killing them too. I'm really bold and frank when I talk to these ministers or whoever, whatever title, because those are the facts and it's the truth. And we have to tell the truth, even though if it hurts them. So, I didn't even turn a page here yet, but I think you have the gist of what we're trying to say here and what we have been doing. And in closing, I'll share this again, and because it's something that's really taken on a life of its own. When I first started as your Deputy Grand Chief, and it started in this community, Ray's daughter, Vicky. She said, Glenn, can you take these clothes? Somebody could use them. I said, okay. And again, and again, and again. And now, 11 years later, it's so big now that a couple of months ago we had to rent a truck to go pick up the clothing out of Fenton Falls. Last week, another organization from Coburg seen us on Facebook. I'm not on Facebook, but I know I'm being talked about. or were talked about. But they called the office, and I want to say miigwech to the staff, Gary, that shared this amongst ourselves, and they said, yes, we will sponsor the delivery of them clothing to North Bay, and then from there we'll distribute to your communities. When I deliver these things to your Deben Dauschik, where you're from, man, it's important to them. There's nothing free in this world anymore, but at least we can do that much. And they're good clothes. Some of them still have tags in them. And now we're starting to get some food. One of the communities here helped us with food. He took it. And they even offered some furniture. I don't know if we'll go that far, but it's there for us for the taking. And reality is, we have a lot of hardships in our communities. My community looks awesome when you come down the main road. But when it gets dark, it's not so nice. That's in all our communities. We got to admit that. That's our fight. But we got to do it together. So with that, I want to say chimigwech. Hey? Now I'll do my speech. So with that, let's enjoy the next 3 days from here. And again, this is our next AGM will be another big one for all of us, and I'm really looking forward to it. So in the meantime, between now and then, Grand Chief and I are going to go the whole 100 yards for our issues, everything. We'll lead you. We'll lead our nation in the right path. Chimigwech.
Miigwech, Deputy Grand Chief Glenn Hare. Now we'd like to call up Grand Council Chief Patrick Madabi.
Bonjour. With us said, there's no cause. On deck, I'm the conning, the sing don't jabba. Because they're do them. Anishin, can we wear the Bajine Mampi Nongo? Chimigwech, Janang. I want to start off by acknowledging all of our sacred items, our eagle staffs, our bundles, and welcome the elders, our chiefs, our councillors, Bindaugsijig to the Grand Council of the Anishinabek Nation for 2017. We also have people out there on webcast, so big shout out to you folks out there, wherever you are. You know, Amjanang community here has just been totally awesome. Gimakwe, Joanne Rogers and her council and everybody here in the communities just been working so hard to prepare here to host this year's gathering. You know, the lodge outside there is just beautiful. You know, the fire keepers were, you know, right on the ball the other day, getting things started early, and everything is just perfect. You know, it's just beautiful here. And we really appreciate that and feel the warm welcome here. And the venue here is full of good energy, and this is really indicative of the pride and the spirit of your community. And, you know, it's always a special privilege to come to this historic region, you know, where leaders from another era, you know, came together to discuss very important matters. I was commenting the other day that this is a special place for me as well. I have good memories here. When I was Grand Chief back in 1980, I received an eagle feather from this community. And I was very proud of that. I carried that with me for quite some time, and I always felt, you know, I was wondered why I got an eagle feather so early in my work, but I guess, you know, there was a reason for it, I guess. But over time, when a very esteemed warrior went to the spirit world, Dick Pine from Garden River, I placed that feather for his journey to take with him, just to honor that man. And you know, that was, you know, I felt, you know, someone had really deserved, you know, that even more than I had at that time because I was just, a fairly new leader as well. And so then I've come down here. This is where I got elected about 8 years ago as Grand Chief. So it's a special place, and you could tell it's a special place. Look at those young people that came here, did that incredible singing and dancing to welcome us this morning. That was just totally fabulous. That was awesome. I'll remember that forever. And the Amjanong Drum for their great songs to welcome us and honor us here. And also, as always, we have to acknowledge our Anishinabek elder, Gordon Wanabents, for, he was down here helping get ready, but we had the sweat last night and sunrise ceremony this morning, and then we also, had open the meeting up in the proper way with Elder Pauline Williams for providing us with that Thanksgiving. So, Chimigwech, Pauline. We have with us as well our youth representatives from our youth council, Natalie Restool and Quinn Miawaski. Chimigwech for coming, and they do great work as well. They're great role models for our young people. And I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the Anishinabek Nation staff. They're second to none, folks. And, I want to say Chimigwech to them. You all do us proud. So each year we come together as the leadership of the 40 Anishinabek nations, and as we've always done. And I've often stated, and I'll state it again and again, as we all should, that each and every one of us here today are the Anishinabek nation. The Union of Ontarians is our corporate vehicle that we use, but we're the Anishinabek nation. That's who we are. We can't change that. The elder says a moose is a moose, duck is a duck. We're Anishinaabe. We're not anything else. So we have to think about that. So, we're talking about that. We did this something back when I was Grand Chief in 1980. We started calling ourselves the Anishinabek Nation and started saying Grand Council Chief, Deputy Grand Chief. Before that, it was President of the Union of Ontarians, Vice President of the Union of Ontarians. That was the corporate model of the day. And we're saying we got to go beyond that because of what the deputy spoke about, our rights. That's who we are. It's important that we remember that, and so we're going to be really trying to elevate that, feeling and really promote the feeling that we're the Anishinabek nation in a more prominent way. And we got to do that, for the long haul, because that's who we are. That's what we are. That's our future. And, we shouldn't be taking the corporate reference, to take the lead in our identity, because we are Anishinabek. So the theme for this Grand Council is honoring our past, our present, and our future. And there's been some very incredible and astute Anishinabek leaders over the years that have had vision, discipline, and fortitude to get us to where we are today. People like Ray Rogers from this community, Jerry Maness. We have Tracy Gauthier in the crowd, put in over 20 years service to Scugog First Nation, and I was talking to her earlier this year. She said she was going to take a break. And people like that, and we have them in every one of our communities, former leadership that have served our people. And make no mistake, the Anishinabek Nation has had, these folks have got us to where we are today, and the Anishinabek Nation has had a direct and positive impact to the broader development of that the Anishinabek benefit from today. Just think about the work you did on the HST, that we all did on the HST. Every time somebody goes and pays at the store, you're saving money. That's because of the work that was done here. The rights that we continue to maintain when we go in the bush, we still have to fight for certain things, but we're winning the battle. You see a lot of stuff that's gone on, at the provincial and national level. A lot of that came out of this forum with leadership like yourselves. So we need to take stock and reflect over the, many decades of unrelenting advocacy that a lot of leaders have brought forth, and the demands for recognition towards our desire to be a self-determining in all aspects that affect our lives, our communities, and our nation. Yes, our leaders in the past fought vigilantly to bring us into the new era. And Glenn talked about the ones that made the ultimate sacrifice in the many conflicts and wars around the world. And it was a particularly incredible emotional moment, and I'm still choked up by it. When we went to Vimy this year, and all the Vimy celebrations and everything was one thing, but the most important and most gratifying thing there is we found Joanne Denau's found his grandfather's grave. We went there. It was 20 miles off the path there in the middle of nowhere, and we went and did ceremony there. Had a pipe ceremony. One of the veterans was also Chief Mel Hardy. You know, blew his eagle whistle in all four directions. It was a very moving, powerful moment. And we left the medicine bundle there, you know, at that grave site. That was tremendous. You know, so there's been a lot of things that have gone on, and you know, as the Grand Council Chief, I feel a tremendous amount of pride and gratitude and appreciation to those warriors. And yes, they were warriors in every sense of the word. You know, they fought for the recognition, for legitimacy, and our right to be who we are and determine where we're meant to be, even with the imposed colonial restrictions that were commonplace throughout all these times. And this battle continues. As the deputy said, we're going to be there to continue the fight. So, miigwech to all those past leaders and you as leaders for demonstrating excellent leadership qualities. We should be fortunate to mirror this vision, courage, and discipline. It's our responsibility today to continue this journey that the early visionaries sought. We're making progress, but there's still much more work for us to do, and we need to do it together. Today, we encounter a great many challenges and obstacles. Some of these challenges are of our own making. There seems to be a misunderstanding that the Anishinabek Nation is pursuing elements of structural change and opportunities separately from the interests that may be sought at the community or regional levels. Let me be clear, for those of you who may have this view, the Anishinabek Nation does not proceed with any work unless we're mandated by this forum, by the leadership. Where there are differences on an approach, those differences and interests are incorporated into the resolutions to accommodate, and this provides a clear mandate that we act upon. As we pursue our rights and our authorities in areas of interest, we will be flexible to make sure that those that have advanced and have done great work, and there's some great work out there, you know, we'll break the path for those that still need to build capacity, still need to make progress. And I'm really, really optimistic when I see tremendous work that's done, you know, in a lot of sectors like health and child care and everything, you know, with some of our tribal councils and the work at the very each community level. I was at a health forum recently, and Gloria Daybuch and Angus Toulouse did a presentation about the great work that Mama West and the North Shore is doing. Awesome stuff that's going on. That's really going to lead the charge on health transformation. So, you know, we have to embrace all of the good work that's going on and look at these best practices. So it's these innovative approaches that work well in the communities and in our regions, and we need to create these models that benefit all of us as a nation. A wise elder recently said, where the interests of our communities overlap, that is our strength. That is our combined influence for change. And I believe this. I know without a doubt that every one of us here today wants only the best for our people, now and well into the future. I know of no one who would purposely attempt to cause damage or hardship towards the growth and harmony of our nation. Our best efforts and highest hopes are to create a bright future for our young. And I can say we have tremendous youth leadership that's already out there right now doing great work. And I have also seen some deliberate undermining of the best intentions in other regions, you know, across the country and every place, an extra effort of time and energy to control the damage prompted a well-known leader to state, who's the most foolish, the fool or the fools that follow? I applaud you for your continued commitment to Anishinabek Nation unity, even with our diversity. It makes the work that we do much more focused. We have to always be mindful and focused on winning the prize and not delay opportunities by debating the finite details. I always say that. Let's go after the prize. When we get it, we'll sort it out, tweak it, fix it. What we do, we fight every step of the way. We fight each other. That's why we're losing some battles. We can't do that. We got to work for the prize, and then we sort it out. So we get the prize first, or we never will. And that's what this exercise is about, taking back our jurisdiction. And taking back and I don't know what the right word is, but to make our Anishinabek identity, front and center. It's one of the most common denominators of all of the issues and events that we encounter. Especially hitting home recently were the views of our young people. They were demanding to know that who they are as Anishinaabe and what it means to them and what are their responsibilities. So I commend our youth. They have got bold opinions and fresh perspectives. They are motivating us to do better, to think wiser, and to move faster. We, in turn, must direct more responsibility to our young people, and we are doing that. So with that, I talk about identity. That vision is the root of what we do. The Anishinaabe have a creation story. Our identity stems from there. And that we're vigilant. We must be vigilant protecting and where we can, strengthening and reclaiming our language, our culture, and our identity as Anishinaabe, our songs and our lawmaking authority. Elder Gordon is steadfast in his effort to remind us that our identity is critical to protect and strengthen. That not only must we be mindful of the importance of it, but we must begin to routinely rely on and be proud of who we are and to move forward in a good way, in the right way. Recently, Leadership Council met to discuss many of the challenges and opportunities that the Anishinabek Nation must consider, especially given our journey to date. Where we are going, what are our priorities in the short term and in the long term? Do we feel the unity as strong as ever? If not, why? What are the distinct tones we want to maintain, to build on, or to be wary of? There were many questions posed, and the commonality became evident. Our identity is paramount. Our early vision of self-determination, as directed by our communities, remains steadfast, and we must utilize every means at our disposal to promote the Anishinabek Nation communities to that end. The priority planning is work in progress and will continue to be the guide that we ensure captures the essence of what you have directed through the resolutions, more and more supported through community engagement, like we've been doing in health, in housing, and many other issues, the child well-being. Grand Council ratified the Anishinabek Nation Chinook Nagawin, and you have yet to direct its implementation in a more comprehensive way. And we plan on doing that. We need to get down to that very in-depth discussion about, First Nations being obviously the most paramount governance, but what will they delegate? What responsibilities will they delegate for, economies of scale or collective efforts to perhaps the tribal council or the various other institutions or the PTOs? That has to be sorted out. And we have to get down to that work. And that's some of the work that's going to go forward, in the near future as we're working on the governance discussions. So there's tremendous opportunities to be realized if only we believe in our ability, in our capacity, and in our nationhood. For example, we've been talking for years about synchronizing our elections to put more stability into our communities. And you directed that a strategy be developed to have all Anishinabek nations shift to, hopefully a same-day election, looking in summer months, maybe July is the favorite month, with longer terms. This two-year term business doesn't allow for continuity. And we need to be more, have more stability in our governments. The work on that was completed in terms of laying out some models, but that's gone nowhere yet. Some communities have gone on to adjusting and getting out of the Indian Act and developing their own custom models and lengthening terms. Some have been adopting the federal government model of their longer-term government, but we're saying we've got to do it, from a community perspective. What is it our First Nations want? And that's how we need to, finish this job. And we need to be talking about it. We need to be championing its implementation. We need to realize the confidence and pride benefiting from our own law development capabilities. It appears there are a growing number of communities interested in shifting from the Indian Act elections to the federal government's First Nation Election Act. We must ask ourselves why. Do we not trust in our own ability to act on our self-determined goals and objectives? Is it a funding concern? Are there legality concerns? Should we explore what it is at the root of all this hesitancy to implement the very items you directed to be created? So we need to have a talk about that. We need to move those issues, move the yardsticks on that. Ibn Dogsijig, those that belong. One of the most critical areas that I fear may be affected by this same level of hesitancy. Said it at this forum many times. We cannot afford to lose another Anishinaabe because of the genocide of the Indian Act and the various, what do they call those things there? The categories you have with, the different categories you have with under that Indian Act. It's crazy, the foolishness of that Indian Act registration system, where you have those different designations. We're Anishinaabe. We're not a category this, category that. Those guys are catatonic that think of that kind of stuff. So we have to really, move in this direction. I harp on that, and I talk about our communities like Mississauga and Scugog have already gone into that situation now where their citizens cannot be registered as status Indians because of these darn different categories under the thing, and it's going to happen to every one of our communities. So we have to move on that, Ben Dodgejig, and I know our Citizenship Commissioner, Jeanette Lavelle-Corbier, made representations to the standing committees on it, and when we also met with Indian Affairs when they were tinkering again, with their Indian Act registration system, we told them that we have our own process, our Ben Dodgejig, and I think, we have to get a lot more bolder and a lot more aggressive on implementing that so we don't lose our citizens and implement our own law. So we need to align a lot of these things and align it with the Chinook Nagawan. That's why we created this Anishinabek Nation, Chinook Nagawan, and why it's so important that each community has to have their own Chinook Nagawan, so we we can delegate these and implement these things in our communities. So we need to discuss this. Thank God for Beesh, and thank God for people like Josephine and the Walkers that are going to be coming here later, to do the work that they do to protect our water. We talk about communications, and so for all the tools at our disposal, communication still needs to be strengthened, and both ways. We went through some processes. It's amazing. We spent decades on issues. And we come in the community, well, I never heard of this. What's going on? So we obviously got to do a much better job. And we need to highlight the great work that's been achieved amongst all of our Anishinabek nations. So in addition to the direct mailouts, fax, emails, memos, social media reliance, such as Facebook, Twitter, and other forms of electronic communication, we're going to put the Anishinabek news out again in paper, print to you again on a quarterly basis, because there's a lot of our folks don't go and look up the on the website to get their Anishinabek news. So we need to mobilize an awareness strategy that ignites critical thinking to best, disseminate what's occurring out there. Let people know what's going on. We need to engage our citizens much more intensively and directly so that, it ignites this critical thinking, and because they're the ones that are being affected. So there's the value in even referencing a lot of the good work that's gone on. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. There's lots of a great inventory of historical reports and documents that were founded by and reflects our people's voice, from years past to navigate towards the future. So we need to reach as many of our Ibinalgajig as possible. And I use the phrase in biblical proportions. We got to get out there and spread the word. So this effort will aid in knowing, that each and one of us are a part of a bigger, broader goal. I mentioned jurisdiction. So as mandated, we're actively seeking jurisdiction over a number of key areas. There is a model that we're using that seems to provide a simple and workable solution to the often long and cumbersome negotiation process. Using elements that founded the Anishinabek Nation Child Wellbeing Law, we're seeking authorities by thinking outside the status quo box. We're doing that on the water needs assessment as an example. So we're looking at processes that allow us to be the administrators and control what's going on, and then become self-governing and self-determining about what we do. And I mentioned the water needs assessment, the housing blueprint, and soon we have some chiefs that are going to lead the charge on health and the child well-being issues. These are opportunities that you have taken remarkable leadership on, and we're going to talk about that more this week. This week we're going to have a discussion about Métis incursion into our territories, and it's time that we talk about that clearly and clearly tell the government, the province and the federal government, that what's going on in our territories, our people have to be the ones consulted. So we have to actively talk about that, and so we'll talk about that when it comes to it. In the area of education, we had planned to join in a celebration with those in the Anishinabek communities that said yes to the Anishinabek education system, but logistics, not ours, Canada's processes, could not feasibly facilitate the final Anishinabek Nation Education Agreement. Parliamentary process, has to occur. So that celebration is now slated for August 16th with the Chippewas of Rama as the host, and we're doing that coincidentally with our Lifetime Achievement Award celebrations, where we honor people that have done such great work in our communities. We put out a notice as well, and I'm kind of disappointed. I'll be very frank here. We put out a notice asking us to identify your veterans. We wanted to honor our veterans at that function as well. I think Gary said to me, what'd you get, 4 responses? Something wrong with that picture? We got 40 communities. There's lots of veterans out there, whether they're, acknowledge them from the past, the present, those serving today. And we want to acknowledge them. So, hopefully, again, you'll get that information to us, and we need that information soon, because if we're going to develop some kind of a recognition plaque or whatever we're going to develop, we have to know the numbers. I guess otherwise, right now, we're only doing 4. But hopefully we'll get more. Was there more than 4, Gary? That was it? Okay. So 4 communities have responded. Yeah. So we got, you're one of the 4. Yeah. Whitefish River, for the record, Whitefish River responded. So in addition to this momentous occasion, later today we'll also come together to celebrate the remarkable achievement of the Ibinalgajig, who are nominated by our communities again on the 16th of August for the Anishinabek Nation Lifetime Achievement Awards. And that will occur, as I said, in Rama with a special acknowledgement of the veterans. And these events are also, your presence supports the Anishinabek Nation 7th Generation Charity. And we hope to raise more funds that will go directly to assist our children and families where no other recourse is available. So there's so much to talk about. It's been an extremely busy year, and I want to take a moment to say Chimigwech to the Deputy Grand Chief. He does the lion's share of the community engagements. Well, I have to, I do the short straw. I got to go down to Toronto quite often. That's where the government offices are, and also up to Ottawa. So he goes out to the communities more than I do, and he's the million-kilometer guy. He goes through probably 120,000 or more kilometers a year, getting around to our communities. I only do about 90-something, and I ride with him a lot of times. And I'll wake up from my sleep and say, "You want me to drive?" And he says, "No, I'm okay," and I go right back to snoring. So that works out really well. So between the two of us, there's we're not able to attend every event that we're requested on, and we are calling on regional chiefs and other leaders to more and more to go, because there's so many more requests, and I'm really grateful that I work with Glenn, and we complement each other very well, and so really we his strengths are my weaknesses. Well, not really. I let him think that. He's proven in many ways I can rely on him, with absolute confidence. So miigwech, Glenn, for your unwavering support and assistance to me and to all the departments and the staff and the work that you champion wholeheartedly. We have our portfolio holders do a great job, leading the charge. And also, I mentioned earlier, the staff of the Anishinabek Nation. Miigwech for all you do. And we have a fine reputation out there that we get things done. The government tells us that, they see other leaders from other organizations coming down the street and they walk to the other side of the street. Not with us. They know that we won't settle for anything other than ensuring that the resolve of our communities and seeking the work and the results, is we're going to achieve that. We do what we say we're going to do. So I want to leave you all with some food for thought as we progress into the agenda for the week. This journey of the Anishinabek Nation, the vision of those early leaders, the work we do today to aid in the strength of our nation, to the ambitions of our young people for a strong identity and a clear way of doing things. These are all going to be achieved together. We will leave no one behind. We are 40 communities strong, all at various stages of community development and capacity. Our focus will be on the diversity, and that diversity will be our strength. We rely on your innovation and all the best practices out there. Our solutions will be internally sought. Our experts will be from our own communities. And I say this a lot. It's fine to get consultants and lawyers giving you advice, but at the end of the day, you got to make a political call. And that's what's going to win the day. So we will rely on the experts from our own communities, and our energies will continue to be fueled by our children and the families wanting a better life. Our rights to benefit from the beauty and bounty of our lands and resources must always drive our purpose. And finally, our unrelenting insistence that as the Anishinabek Nation, we're intent on challenging the status quo for what will transform into be our future. I have a couple of little things I want to just do in closing. I received an email this morning. In July, the North American Indigenous Games are happening in Mississauga, Toronto area. 5,000 athletes are coming down there, and a lot of them from our communities. They're looking for volunteers. If you have anybody have volunteers, look up their website, www.nag2017.to. If you're looking to volunteer, especially you folks out there in the webcast, if you want to do something to help out the North American Indigenous Games. I want to do one last thing. I want to ask all of you to stand for a moment of silence. Tragically, yesterday we got news of a 2-year-old in Alderville First Nation, the son of Wes Marsden Jr. and his spouse. Wes has been around this table as a youth delegate. His dad has been around this table as a chief. So it's only fitting we do a moment of silence to help and support Alderville First Nation and